There's a big difference between being a hustler and being a real entrepreneur, being a real business owner. Anybody can hustle and go make a little bit of money, but what's it really take to be a bona fide, real hardcore entrepreneur and run a real business? So that's where you got to make the shift.
Mic check.
I'm good.
Mic check. Mic check.
You can read about success all day long, but if you don't put in the work, the mindset, execution, and the hustle behind your vision, it just remains a dream.
When everything goes wrong, you have to take all the responsibility.
We uncover what high-level entrepreneurs, business owners do to rise up from hustling daily.
So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances.
The world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft.
Join me as I share with you actionable tips to help you grow your business, learn skills, and help you level up in your self-development journey.
Your number one spot for business and personal growth is the Online Hustlers Podcast with your host, Esteban Andrade.
Every day I'm hustling.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Online Hustlers Podcast. But I want to really take this new episode that I have with one of our first guests that we ever had of our show here. His name is Nick Perry. To transition from being the Online Hustlers Podcast to being the REI Printers new show. So we purchased the domain reipreneurs.com. We're starting out a community in Miami, and in Colombia, it's going to be called REI Printers. And we want to transition to that new name because it has a little bit more of a hit than the Online Hustlers. And to be honest, we also had a great amount of guests, and we are leveling up the way that we will do the show. It's been maybe almost 60 guests already, and I think for the first season, that'll be good. The Online Hustlers is obviously what started everything and so on. But now we are REIpreneurs. You are an REIpreneur. I'm an REIpreneur. We do entrepreneurship in the REI space, and we're helping people that are listening to this episode to become a better real estate investor, wholesaler, a better overall highly skilled entrepreneur in the real estate space.
Let me tell you something. There's a big difference between being a hustler and being a real entrepreneur, being a real business owner. Anybody can hustle and go make a little bit of money, but what's it really take to be a bona fide, real hardcore entrepreneur and run a real business? So that's where you got to make the shift.
Yeah. So, well, you went from working corporate America at Indeed, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you became a multimillionaire in the real estate space. What were the top few things that you had or you developed while at Indeed to become better at business?
So Indeed it's one of the top inside sales organizations in the United States. It's your typical inside sales, Wolf of Wall Street, 60 calls a day, 120 minutes, big quotas, big money, work hard, play hard environment. And that's really where I got my sales acumen from. That's where I learned the discipline and the framework of what it really takes to be a successful sales professional. I'd been in sales my entire life, but that's where I really thrive. So the skills I learned at Indeed is the same way that I treat my real estate investment company. So it's still 60 calls a day, 120 minutes. We're grinding just like I was at Indeed, but now I'm doing it for my own business.
I would never have thought that Indeed, a corporation that you think, oh, well, this is a job board like being able to find candidates or find jobs, that they would make you have that way. I guess in order for you to create sales teams, you have to follow the same path as they do, right? I don't know if you can tell me a little bit more how they were structured and what you basically plug and played from seeing Indeed and being inside of Indeed, such a huge corporation, to now plug it in your business. So you tell me more about that.
Yeah. So Indeed, they've got over 2,000 sales reps. So they're all reaching out to employers, getting them to spend money on sponsored jobs. So when you have 2,000 salespeople, your organizational structure is critical. So you have 11 sales reps on a team, and those sales reps are overseen by a director. So each team has a director that oversees them. And within my office alone, we had 20 teams, and each of those directors have to report to a senior director. So there's a hierarchy to how these sales organizations are built. Then the senior director is just the senior director of the office in Austin. There's multiple other offices all around the world. So all those senior directors have to report up to the VP of sales. So it's a beautiful structure how they've laid it out. And it's all the individual quotas roll up to the director quotas, roll up to the senior director quotas, up to the vice president's quota, who eventually is, reporting to the CEO of the company. So it's just, broken down from the individual all the way up.
Was it also a commission only, or was it base commission?
Yeah, Indeed was, your typical 9 to 5, where I had salary, base, 401k, benefits, HSA, commissions. I mean, it's for somebody that wants to do a 9 to 5.
Yeah,
it's a 9 to 5er's dream. I was making $250,000 a year.
Yeah,
doing it. I was a senior account executive there. I was
you
one of the top
reps. You even had an intern, I heard.
Yeah, I was one of the top reps in the company for while I was there.
So they gave you an intern that then eventually became your COO currently?
He's the CEO.
CEO.
Correct.
Wow.
He was a COO for 3 years and he was promoted to CEO.
Dude, that's huge. So you were able to get everything that you learned in corporate and even the intern that you got to now plug into your business. But all right, so a lot of people are struggling in the REI space. They're just struggling with the market shifts that they saw ever since like last year started shifting. The marketing models that are happening right now, where a lot of people relied on the traditional outbound, right? SMS, cold calling, direct mail, maybe voicemail drops. And they didn't realize that things were going to go so fast, so hard. A2P 10 DLCs coming in, already came in September 1st, where it's blocking a bunch of people doing text messaging. Obviously, cold calling is always like a gray area to play with. For example, one of my friends got sued $40,000 in his first campaign that he spent money on, and then in the month 2, he got sued another $35,000, and he stopped cold calling, and then he dedicated all his efforts in inbound. So TV, PPC, Facebook, Instagram. I think they're doing YouTube. But like, how can people still thrive? How can people still make millions of dollars in wholesaling in 2023? Because you've been doing that consistently in the last few years.
Yeah, no, great question. So this is the number one question that will make you millions and millions of dollars. So stay tuned. I'm getting ready to tell you guys exactly what you need to do. But for you guys out there that are still doing outbound telecommunications, I'm going to say a prayer for y'all, because not only are you going to be getting sued, they literally have courses out there that teach you how to sue people. There's a website called donotpay.com that if you text somebody, they can literally have AI generate all the demand letters, like put you in lawsuits. And there's people out there doing this. Like, they just sit back and wait for a text message or a phone call. And it's becoming more common knowledge to go sue people that are doing unsolicited text messages and cold calls. Additionally, the carriers are getting way too good. They got 10 DLC now. That's the first wave. It's knocked out, 50, 75%. I don't know what the percentage is, but they're going to do another update. This telecommunications is dying a slow death. And you guys can play the cat and mouse game, but you're going to be a hustler. You're going to end up dipping and dodging from the carriers. And it's not the way to build a sustainable business. Additionally, it's not the most profitable either. I've spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on text message. Same thing with cold call. I used to have 24 cold callers. And I've never found anything that beats the KPIs that I get in terms of return on investment than pay-per-click advertising. So I've been doing pay-per-click advertising since 2014. And in 2019, I shifted my entire business to that. And that's all we do. We don't do any other form of marketing. We're not doing direct mail. We're not doing telecommunications, all inbound PPC. And, we run one of the largest teams in the entire nation and make millions and millions of dollars doing it. So,
yeah. So how big is your team right now?
Right now we have 18 or 19 people on our team. Everybody's in Austin. We have a physical office there. Yeah, it's the same thing. People on the phones. If you walk in my office, it looks like a sales office. So we've got, I think 9 acquisitions, 3 or 4 dispo, 3 transaction coordinators, some other people in the office. So,
all right. So for people to start getting prepared to fully move into inbound, what do they have to know? And what's the best way to start learning Google advertising?
Get some education. So like when I started off, I spent a lot of money trying to figure it out, when I'm a firm believer that I don't care what you're trying to figure out, especially in the business world. If you're looking to acquire a new skill, or say you're starting up a new business, maybe you guys are starting up your real estate investment company right now, the fastest way to the bag to make the most money in the least amount of time with the least amount of headache is to find out who is already doing what you want to do and go pay them, intern for them, whatever you have to do to get them to teach you that skill, because that's what's going to cut your learning curve and keep you from avoiding costly mistakes and having to figure it out on your own. You guys can try to go watch YouTube videos and piecemeal it all together, but get real mentorship. This is your life. This is your business. So find a mentor and pay to play.
Yeah, it's crazy. No one talks about this, but even though it's a channel where you're attracting sellers, it's still going to be it's still a different channel than cold calling. And so whatever you're doing for cold calling to, I don't know, talk with the sellers, offer the sellers whatever it is that you got to offer, you have to adapt to the new inbound with that, like the model of inbound. So what things have you done in your business when you started in full in 2019, full inbound, and right now that had to shift? What did you have to shift in the way that you did sales for?
Well, I already figured out PPC at this point.
Yeah.
So it was just a matter of increasing my lead volume on PPC and then removing my outbound marketing. So that was it. Once you have the skill, the good thing about PPC, it's very scalable.
Mm-hmm.
So you can scale up to as many leads as you want, right? It's just how much are you willing to invest into it. So it was a very easy transition.
Okay. And like in terms of the system or the things that you need to prepare for the leads to come in, because usually most of the leads come in at night. People are not prepared to be talking with people or to be responding to people at night, mm-hmm. or in the very early morning, 1, 2 a.m. because they're like looking at searching online, and then they say, hey, they're not picking up the phone. I think this PPC leads are trash. They're asking for retail. I don't know, they're being a little bit unrealistic, or they're telling me that they're seeing other competitors at the same time, other people that also had Google listings. How do you handle all of that?
Well, you asked a lot of questions right there. So speed to lead is absolutely critical. I mean, when you're going to have leads come in 24/7. So having autoresponders go out as soon as a lead comes in, you can easily set that up with Zapier or whatever, your CRM. A lot of the CRMs out there support that, to where a lead comes in and they automatically get a message letting them know that they're going to be taken care of. Hey, this is Esteban. Just got your request for a cash offer. I'll be reaching out to you from this area code tomorrow to get the details and present you your offer. Something like that, just so people are, okay, they got my inquiry. I can go to bed tonight. I don't need to go searching for a bunch of other competitors. So that's one thing. Another thing is, in terms of the people wanting retail, like here's the thing. With PPC, think about the journey that somebody took to get to you. They went on Google, they typed in a keyword like sell my house fast or cash for houses. They went to your website, decided to read through it and submit a form. That person might say that they want retail, but it's the same kind of mentality as the person that takes their microphone or their PlayStation to a pawn shop. They know they're not getting full retail when they fill out those forms. So this is where it becomes a sales problem. Being able to ask the right questions, uncover the right motivations, be able to really get that person to show their cards and let their guard down. So that's really where it comes in. If you're driving leads to a Cash for Houses website, these are not your average home sellers. There's something going on the majority of the time.
So it's most of the time trying to figure out the I want what Zillow says, or I want what the market value says, or I want something. It's usually a surface level.
So I'll throw it back at them. So, yeah, that's great. Why are you calling me? Why, have you reached out to a realtor? Put it right back in there. Oh, well, no, I don't want to go with a realtor. Now, here we go. Okay, you don't want to go with a realtor. Now you're asking questions and you're helping this homeowner figure out what's going to be the best solution for them.
Right. So usually, you have 9 acquisition reps, right? How are you making sure that these reps are always fed with leads, that they're closing a high percentage? And I guess, what you project for every rep to make doing PPC for each one of the reps?
Yeah. So annually, like our top performers will do 1.3 to up to 1.6. Our top guy did 1.6 last year. On the low end, a rep should make at least $750,000. Like if you're making less than $750,000 a year from our organization, you're